Welcome back into the show. This segment brought to you by Parkside Cabin Rentals. Well, while some folks have been acting like the pandemic doesn't exist, other folks, like me, have been laying low and waiting for vaccines to kick in. So if you are like me and you're looking to finally get out of the house, visit ParksideCabinRentals.com. Or if you're one of these people who's just been going willy-nilly, you can still call ParksideCabinRentals.com. Check out all of their different dozens and dozens of different cabins available. Nobody does it better than the Ogle family. They've literally been in the hospitality business in Sevier County since the national park opened. Literally. That's how long they've been doing this. 70-something years, 80 years. Just spectacular care that they'll take of you, and that's a bizarre way of making that sentence. But anyway, they do great work up there, and if you do rent with them, you will get a voucher for free parking in downtown Gatlinburg whenever you visit downtown Gatlinburg. Parkside Cabin Rentals. Check them out this week, ParksideCabinRentals.com. Okay, let's see if I can speak straight. It was a good week for fall basketball and a bad week for those folks the minority who want Rick Barnes run out of town, because Rick Barnes has continued to stack his roster. John Fulkerson announced he would be returning for one more year, hopefully a healthy year. The Vols nabbed Jonas Adu, a four-star center and former Marquette commitment. Could be because they also hired a former Marquette assistant onto the staff. And they nabbed five-star forward Brandon Huntley Hatfield, who picked Tennessee over a ton of top programs. He's UT's fifth five-star in the last 3 years. Take a look at this graphic. These are the waters in which you swim. Better than Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, Gonzaga, and Michigan State, and national champion Baylor in terms of recruiting. That is stunning. Absolutely stunning. So when you look at the fact that Rick Barnes has already won one SEC title. You only have, 10, 11 in school history, and he's got one of those. He had you at number one in the nation for the longest period ever, an entire month. He's now got you out recruiting Duke and Kentucky and Kansas head-to-head year after year. Rick Barnes has this program better than it's ever been, right? Right?
I'm not going there.
Not better than it's ever been.
When was it better?
No.
Well, I mean, I'm looking as much at returning players with who you have coming in, because they're still, we still got to see if they measure up to the ranking, which hopefully they will. But I look more at what you have coming back first, and the cupboard was almost bare in that regard. So, no, I'm not going to say it's better than it's ever been. Right, Jimmy?
You put yourself in position to be really good, but there are a lot of teams. The NCAA is littered with teams with a lot of talent that didn't win their conference or didn't make a run in the NCAA tournament. And to me, Bruce Pearl made 3 Sweet 16 appearances in 4 years. Tennessee's made 7 all time. That 4-year run is better than what Rick Barnes has done. But Rick Barnes is in position to do some special things with the players that he's getting. But it has to show up on the court. To me, you got to win an SEC title. You got to make a run in the NCAA tournament. When you do that, then it'll be meaningful. To me, more meaningful than just having a highly rated recruiting class.
Okay, so and the other thing, you don't have NCAA concerns,
right?
Which you did with Bruce Pearl.
Well, that was after he'd been.
Well, when he arrived, you knew that he had been blackballed for several years, and that's why he walked in the wilderness at Indiana State. So there were questions when he was hired here.
But he did get to 3 Sweet 16s in 4 years, and they were ranked number 1 also at one point.
So you're saying the tournament is the key?
No. I'm saying the SEC regular season.
You're saying the regular season is meaningless.
and it is. It means something. Everybody says
meaningless.
That.
No.
Everybody says it means something. Everybody does.
Josh, is the program in high cotton at the moment?
Well, it's an incredible position. I think if you're going to argue for best it's ever been, that would be kind of status. That Tennessee's expected to be a top 20, 25 team every year entering the year. Look at recruiting. Recruiting comes into status, and you have all these highly touted players who are hopping on board, and Tennessee has a coach, Rick Barnes, and a coaching staff that is very much respected. So the branding, the imaging, all that is as good as it's ever been. You still need results, because the risk you run is if next season the results are similar to this past season, then the imaging can also be, they can get all these players, but they also fall short of what their expectations are. So on the court, they've had really good results. They don't match what Bruce Pearl has done. If they have a really good season, this upcoming year, then I think you can take on the court and off the court and say, yeah, best you've ever seen Tennessee basketball.
Status is a good word to use. I was going to say brand. I think the Tennessee brand, I don't know that you can argue this even under Bruce Pearl. I think the Tennessee brand is better now than it was then, because if you remember even then, you had people like Dick Vitale who were questionable about, who had questions about Bruce Pearl for what happened at Iowa and why he wound up in Indiana State. You had a lot of other coaches didn't like him. The media didn't love him immediately when he got here, national media I'm saying. So now you have a coach that people respect, love. You've never recruited like this before on a consistent basis. So I think the brand is at a better place. But Chuck, the problem is he's got to win in March, in my view.
And I'd tell you what, as we
SEC
sit here
tournament's in
today,
March.
it's a lot better shape today than it was last Sunday. Because I was listening to my good friend Josh Ward on the radio, and they were going over the starting lineup. And from players that you had at that time, before you get these commitments, and it didn't look very good. I mean, and so now it looks a lot better today, but then it still has to translate over to success on the court.
Well, that's the case anyway. I mean, go ask Kentucky fans.
Yeah.
And they get a top 5 class every year, and sometimes it's great, sometimes it's a complete belly flop like last year. All right, let's talk about next year and what the expectation should be. In other words, has anybody learned their lesson from last year? We'll discuss. Come on back.